Salutations, everybody. You are listening to the Participation Trophy Podcast, and this is episode number 23. We are pre-recording live from various outskirts of the DC metro area. Is that a correct term? Pre-record live? That's what we're doing, right?
Pre-recording. Go with.
Yeah. Pre-recording, and we're live in the moment. Whatever. We got the foursome back up in here from the slums of Hoodbridge, hailing out of PG County with a very memorable stint in Dayton, Ohio. The one and only meme god Jamal A. Smith.
Hello.
From the high rises of Tyson's Corner, but actually hailing from the slums of Hoodbridge. The one and only Hoodbridge legend Zane Zadie. You see how we all intertwine? Like Woodbridge is the encapsulation of our camaraderie and shit.
It's a jump off point, yeah.
It's crazy. Neil DeLaw, our adopted child hailing from somewhere out of Maryland, part-time chemist, part-time insider, full-time pothead. Does grandma listen to this podcast?
I hope not.
I hope not either, man. Airing out all your dirty laundry right now. Neil got me feeling like the cast of Three Men and a Baby up in here. Put that on your list of old school flicks, Neil.
You gotta fuck with that.
Yeah. Is Ted Danson in that one?
Yep, Ted Danson.
Ted Danson, right? This mother right off the top, Zane.
Tom Selleck, Steve Gutenberg.
Right off the top. Hey, put that on your list of old school flicks, Neil.
We'll do.
Yeah, we've got another delightful show for you folks tonight. The Wizards suck again, so we'll get into some of that at Open Gym a little bit later. Speaking of old school flicks, Neil's been catching up on a few of them, which always ripens up our nostalgia as old men. So we'll get into that in theater. And as usual, we got our lineup of dickheads who landed in detention. And speaking of dickheads, we've got some people out there screaming cancel culture again. Dr. Seuss. Dr. fucking Seuss.
Theodore Geisel.
He hit the airwaves this week when the company, on their own account, decided to scrap 6 of their children's books off the shelf due to a variety of racial undertones in some of their imagery. Mind you, this is like 6 books out of 58 million that right. Dr. Seuss has published. The company claimed that some of the imagery in those books depicted white dominance, the oppression of Japanese and other folks of Oriental descent, circus images of black people looking like monkeys, the casual racism that existed in the 20s and 30s when these books were published. Like this shit was, the little kids used to read this shit. Like, yeah, hey, look at that monkey. Yeah. It looks like my friend Fred.
Dr. Seuss was just reporting what he saw, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Dr. Seuss announces the cancellation of the books, of course, and like fucking clockwork, conservatives are making this their headline news, screaming cancel culture when, in fact, is it really cancel culture? Let's talk about it.
Well, it's so first of all, who's surprised that conservatives found a new grievance for 2021? I mean, whoever's out to get you, right, they're going to highlight it. First of all, I learned just a little while ago that this actually happened last year. So
really?
Books have been out of production for a while, but I guess it was just rolled out. If that is indeed correct, I think it's important when I look at cancel culture. I kind of look at it from 2 different angles. There are things that, and I think this is most applicable to the Dr. Seuss case, that were the societal norms for that particular time, right?
Yeah.
For Dr. Seuss, and I saw the images yesterday. They look like shit that didn't belong in this century. Very terrible, stereotypical looking drawings of, ethnicities and racial classes. Were they meant to offend at that particular time? Perhaps not. But then I learned about Dr. Seuss's writings from when he was even younger that were, heavy-handed like racism. So there's that one class of things, right? I don't know if you heard about the Disney Plus contextualizing certain episodes of the Muppet Show. The Muppets did get canceled, but it was important for Disney to point out that some of these things that were recorded in the, 70s, 60s, 70s, appear to be very different based on the demographics and the way the world looks today. There's then the other class of shit that people get canceled for. If you are saying blatantly offensive, terrible, degradatory shit,
right,
get a pass for that. because in
Correct.
the era that shit is inappropriate.
Right.
Using slurs and heavy stereotypes and all that shit. Like, I'm all in favor of people getting the complete axe for that. Whether Dr. Seuss and the publication company wanted to contextualize this, or they took it a step further and actually removed the books from the shelves, I'm okay with that. But let's draw that demarcation line between what may have been appropriate. And if you look at old Looney Tunes episodes and shit like that. Even old candies. I remember a candy called fucking Charlie Chan, and it had
Right.
horrible racist artwork on the box. Like, yeah, that shit doesn't really belong in society anymore. That's when we were heavily patriarchal and much more homogeneously white then than we are now. So
Right.
there's contextualizing and there's canceling. I just want to make sure the two are separate. But I don't have a problem with this.
Yeah.
But I'm not at all surprised that conservatives had a problem with it.
Here's the thing, and I'll let anybody else speak to this, but people forget that during that time, the 20s and 30s, 60s and 70s, society as a whole was racist. It was racist, right?
Yeah.
And so the arts reflected that same racism, and for them, it was normal. So, you hear an echo?
Well, thanks for asking, Abdullah. So actually, but yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with, definitely with everything Jamal said. Caveat, my problem with the left is that they sometimes don't distinguish between the gray areas and the line, right? I think we understand what the line is, right? Some things that are blatantly, racist or derogatory. But at the same time, like you said, this conservative news is always, it's funny. It's like the go-to line is like, Dr. Seuss was a part of my childhood. And like fuck your childhood. Like, that's the reason, you know what I mean? So a lot of these, from both sides just lacks nuance and kind of understanding context. But, throughout time, I guess my question was, we're retroactively, we end up canceling people, and a lot of them are deserved. Like John Wayne, right? Made a lot of racist comments. Who's that clown for Monday Night Football who got replaced by was it Faith
Dennis
Hill
Miller?
or whatever name was?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
No, not
Not Dennis Miller.
the dude who used to sing the Monday Night Football.
Hank, what's it, Hank something?
Yeah, that clown. Same
Hank
thing.
Williams.
Yeah, and
That was my shit,
And
though.
then-
That was my shit.
yeah, and then you have like historical figures like who people deify. Like Mahatma Gandhi, who had like relations with like underage girls and shit like that. Like those are like the obvious ones, But sometimes it can't go too
News to
far.
me.
I know, right? Get your boy in check, man.
Damn, fucked up. For me, I don't know. I was just annoyed with the dumbass Fox News headlines that were like, "Oh, in 2015, Barack Obama said, oh, you can learn everything in the world from
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Seuss," and they were trying to drudge that stuff up. I'm like,
That pivot foot is strong.
Yeah, pick a side.
never called for a travel ever. That pivot foot is
Oh,
strong.
yeah, that pivot foot is strong.
Pick a side.
But
Pick a
my
freaking side.
whole thing is that from Dr. Seuss's perspective, right, from that angle, they canceled these books on their own accord. Like there was no pressure because they realized times are different, and it goes back to the point I made earlier. Like the 20s and 30s, when these books were published, at least a few of them were published in that era. I mean, come on, that's one of the most racist eras in American history.
But they're
So-
registered Democrats. Yeah. And they're
So-
dead,
so-
but they voted in the last
Right.
election.
Yeah. So what somebody today, her name is Chris Bish. This is her real name.
I saw her last night. Yeah.
Did you see this tweet last night? So this tweet by Chris Bish. She's running for Congress. I'm not sure what state, Jamal. You probably already rabbit holed into her whole
He is
fucking background.
God damn it! I want to say somebody in Colorado, but I'm probably she's trying to primary somebody from
Yeah. So
Colorado.
her bio starts with running for Congress or some shit like that. So she tweets last night, why is a song called Wet Ass Pussy censored, not considered inappropriate, but Dr. Seuss is? So
Yeah.
This glamorization of what they like to call cancel culture is insane. It's all rhetoric. It's all talking points. It's to provide that buzz because, we live in a time where organizations, businesses start to reflect on how they've been perceived in the past and how some of the things that they've done in the past will still hurt them today. Like it's like Coca-Cola. You know, they canceled cocaine because they said, hey, cocaine's not fucking good for you, so we're gonna just eliminate cocaine from the product. Right. That's not cancel culture. That's times changing.
That's yeah. And the key,
right. So
I drank Coke as a child. Part of my childhood.
Well, look, the key words are times changing, which inherently flies in the face of conservatism. Conserve, if they make it really elementary, is the root word of conservatism is conserve. They want to keep simple, keep the same some things that they hold dear as, you know, certain values, right? So when the demographics of this nation change and, you know, people self-reflect on, you know, a lot of different points about their business or their culture, what have you, things should change with it. But conservatives take that as an affront to their very being in the United States of America. And I think it's, you know, but for grievance, what else would they talk about at this point? Less about policy and more about who's coming to get you, like I said. So it's hard to gauge what they deem acceptable change. Right. And these things, this is the most predictable outcome of the Dr. Seuss thing. The way. So
my question is though, like, and we've discussed this before, how there's the conservatives, but there's like a line. There's the public conservatives, the media, right? Like, do any of their their constituents care about this shit? Like, did somebody come out once upon a time 10, 15 years ago who was in office or whatever and spurred this? Or is it just like
they need something to talk about?
Or it's just, or it's like the constant SJW thing, right? Where this is who they are. So this is the people don't like it who align with our party for whatever reason, right? And this is what we're going to use in the media to kind of draw the line and get people on our side.
Yeah. It's interesting, the constituents perspective that you just mentioned, because for a lot of these constituents, it's their own Congress people that are spewing this bullshit. I mean, well, Marjorie Taylor Greene putting up a sign, you know, like this whole, this petty bullshit going on between not just, you know, Republicans, but Democrats, obviously they feed into it as well. Yeah. But this whole petty trolling shit that's happening inside Congress halls, and what are the constituents, you know, how are they reacting to that? Obviously the media plays a big part, and they veer minds one way or another. But when your actual Congress people are behaving in a certain way as well, it's like, well,
yeah, I think that
how do you stick with them?
Yeah, Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert are, I know Marjorie Taylor Greene at least is from the reddest of the red districts represented in Congress. So her constituents actually eat that shit up because, again, the further right you go, the further into grievance politics you go. So it's less about policy and what's good for our district and more about, you know, how can we drum up, you know, more
petty hate
from the left, right?
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate. I mean, you bring that into the halls of Congress. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene and the trans episode the other day was, you know, was sad, but this is what, you know, a lot of people apparently clamor for. So
listen, Marjorie Taylor Greene is just Donald Trump with a sex change, man. Like,
that's it.
She's wild. Like this motherfucker bounced from office and like she just rose up. Like, okay, you know, I'm gonna tear these walls down. She's crazy.
Yeah.
And like the messaging on her masks, right? Like she had Joe Biden's name on one of her masks. Did you read that? Which one?
Yeah. She said
like
mask this mask is as useless as Joe Biden.
What the fuck, man? You talking about the president? Like on your mask, like inside Congress.
Obert was on a podcast today, and she used the term transvestite. I mean, these are people who are not in touch with what's going on.
Yeah.
Side of, you know.
Is Boebert in? Is Boebert elected? Is she in Congress or is she still like running?
No, sir. She got sworn in on January 3rd. She's in.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, she's in. She's in. So we have.
You knew this, Neil?
I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. Shit.
You knew and you didn't tell us.
Yeah, these people will be around at least for 2 years. Right?
Oh my god, man. Oh fuck me.
Yep.
Damn. All right. I feel like I need to take a shower, man. Like, all right. We're gonna hop out of the children's book controversy. Shoe controversy has arisen again. I don't think it's ever gone away. It's always there, but now it's hit like the hierarchy of branding now. Like VP, the Nike VP resigns over some reseller controversy. I think her son was caught up in the game.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, this Nike VP, her son was involved in a very fruitful, for not lack of a better term, but for a more extravagant term, was involved in a very fruitful reselling business. So they alleged that the son basically charged about over $100,000 on this woman's credit card. And he basically only claimed that he made roughly about $20,000 in sales profit from
If
reselling.
that's true, he's just a poor businessman.
And she gave him the credit card. Is that correct?
I mean, of course. I mean, that's what you would assume, right?
he didn't sneak.
I mean,
shit, right? Like,
look, I'm very irresponsible to a certain extent. Like, you know, like I had a coworker, right? And he didn't notice for a month that somebody stole his card and was buying lunch on his card every day, right? But that was the extent of somebody being not paying attention. Even for me, I don't really pay attention to my credit card. Now, if somebody charges 120 fucking grand, either she has a Wayfair addiction or she's just completely.
No, I just wanted to confirm to the audience that she was full-fledged involved in this fucking.
Yes, she
shit.
had to be involved.
Right,
so
okay.
you know, he says he makes $20,000 in profit. Some of these shoes resell for over $1,000, right? Now the kicker here is that what I just read also is that this person, the son, had claimed in an interview that he just found 6 pairs of Nike Air Max in a warehouse in fucking Oregon or some shit.
I remember that story, and I was like, I never thought that shit sounded right. No,
I was just walking the dog, you know,
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah,
I tripped over him.
Found some
But what
kicks,
also that
picked them up.
shows is this is not just somebody like to get that shoe. You got to be very. I mean, obviously he's connected, right? But there is, you know, some sort of involvement for. I mean, she had to be very much involved in getting him those shoes, right? Somebody who's very well connected to get those shoes. Those shoes resell for over $10,000, right? So to get 6 pairs of those.
Looking at
you
the
know,
current resale price for mags, my size on StockX, $20,000.
Yeah,
Oh,
20 grand.
Lord.
And he says he found 6 of
So,
these.
These are the quote unquote Back to the Future shoes. So
Yep.
yeah, these are like the holiest of the Holy Grail.
Wow.
I'll buy
So
them
that's-
shits just off the name.
Yeah, and even the other shoes he probably got, he probably sold for $1,000. Probably got them for $200. I mean, you're talking about times 5.
Are they orange and blue?
No, they're not orange and blue. They're Kelly green and white. But yeah, so Jamal, I'll kick it over to you. I mean, my closing thought on this is, the most fucked up thing, right? Growing up, I never had enough money to afford the shit I wanted, right? And being at a point now where I'm making good money and I can afford some fucking shoes that I might want, and I can't fucking have them, right?
Yeah.
Because these shoes are selling out in less than 3 seconds. Any shoe you fucking want, right? And it's because of all this reselling and mostly because of bots, right? If anybody doesn't know what bots are, do some research. Basically, people are configuring coding into browsers to be able to check out, mass amounts of shoes, 1,000 times quicker than any human can, right? So by the time you're even able to click, all the shoes that have already been bought, and then people are reselling them for extravagant amounts. I mean, the game's all fucked up. So
Yeah.
I'll kick it over to you, Jamal.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of these stories that for a lot of sneakerheads was confirmation or vindication that the game is just completely unfair, right?
Yeah.
This woman was very high up in Nike, as mentioned, and she had a personal stake and personal hand in the design and the running of the sneakers app, SNKRS, which to any sneakerhead has caused
Horrible.
unbelievable frustration over the years. I mean, there's just something fundamentally strange about I have money to buy sneaker X. Sneaker X is released on this date, but I can't expect to get it because supply and demand is that fucking incongruent that, it's almost expected that if you want a high profile release, you just have to have your money prepped to pay $100-$200 over retail on the secondary market.
Yo, the blue balls are real in the sneaker game, isn't it? Like shit you want so bad, and just knowing in the back of your mind that
You're not going.
It's certainly possible you're not going to get it right.
Not going to get it. Yeah, you're not going to get it. So the fact that she was involved in sneakers, just again, it just kind of nailed home the point that the game is really just haves and have-nots, and the fact that the woman is personally involved in Nike, and her son was basically backdooring. I mean, I don't know if you see this kid's IG page. He works for his company's called West Coast Streetwear, I think. And
Yeah.
had fucking pallets of sneakers on his
Yeah.
deck and in these warehouses. Now, I read the whole Bloomberg article that sparked this whole thing. That was released, I think, the day before this woman resigned. And he and his boy put in a lot of work. I mean, he had what they call a cook group, which is basically a sneaker insider group that's, kind of pointing people to, drops and the best way to get it. And, you're paying in for bots and you get, pooling money and all that stuff. So he did that, and he had that one stream of income, and he was also driving across the country just buying shit up at mom and pop stores and whatever else he could, get his hands on. So I appreciate the grind, but again, the sneaker game is not fair. It's just
definitely. I mean, I think the 2022 version of John Q is a father holding up a sneaker store saying his son, he's gonna get those fucking shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously,
515, my son gets those Jordans.
God,
Don't call me, call Nike.
Nah, for real, man. Look, here's perspective.
why are you so good at that? What the
I
fuck?
just watched John Q today. That's fucking hilarious. Because when Jamal said have and have nots, there's a line about the have and have nots fucking insurance.
Oh my god.
Sneakers on the sneakers app was the Jordan 11 Space Jams in 2016 when they did one of the releases. And I remember my cousin told me about the app early in the week. I was like, oh, I always wanted some dope ass 11s. I was late to the drop. The drop was like at 10 a.m. I got on at like 10:10 and easily scooped the pair up.
Yeah.
Were they orange and blue?
No. I mean,
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the Space Jams, though, I mean, those were mass produced, right? So when they mass produce a shoe, they're dropping, an insane amount. And when you get them motherfuckers, it's glue is all fucked up. The fucking leather's all stupid. Like, it's like, no matter
That
what.
assembly line quality.
but ultimately, like when it comes down to it, does Nike give a fuck about bots invading their system?
No, they do not.
No, because they still make their revenue number. Nike actually did better during the pandemic than anybody expected, because people still had money to spend. They had stimulus checks. They had just fucking shit because they weren't going out. And then B, when the Last Dance documentary went out, it became completely impossible to buy J's after that. Jordan shoes became unattainable after because everybody wanted to get their hands on some ones.
Same with Kobe's now. Kobe's
Crazy.
after his death, rest in peace. It's impossible.
No way.
Jordan
Yeah.
is a genius.
Yeah. The Lou Williams, though, you can get those right now if you log on.
You get some Iverson and
Yo,
Yeah.
yo. So I wonder what this lady's husband does for a living. I hope he's not a house husband, because they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be living off savings for a minute.
She'll get
I
enough
think they'll be all right.
slide somewhere else, but it's a fucked up story.
Oh yeah, man.
Fuck that kid.
Wow.
19-year-old bitch.
How much more bread do you need in life? Like, like
Never
you
enough.
make it,
It's
you're
never
probably making
enough.
so much bread as Nike VP. God damn.
Can you imagine what her stock is like? Jesus.
Oh,
Ooh.
Taking care of her kids. I did it for you.
Yeah.
all right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap that up. I have no perfect segue, even though it was a perfect setup. We're talking about basketball shoes. Now we're about to talk about basketball.
Trying to see
So
if I can, with no locker room access, I can't steal any of Russell Westbrook's Jordans. It's
There
unfortunate.
you go. You seen them though, right?
Unfortunately, it's like, nah.
I don't fuck with Russ's J's.
I got
No?
a pair.
Brad is on that too now.
They're not for drip. They're just strictly performance shoes.
Yeah, strictly performance shoes. I bought them for performance.
Who do you sign with on 2K in your my career? I signed with Jordan.
Oh, wait, always.
Always.
I did the
Did
Nike.
you ever get in trouble for wearing Adidas one time? Like I wore the T Max for like 3 games, and my agent was like, "Yo, you can't do that shit. You just signed with Jordan. You wear the glossy ass T Mac 3s." Like,
Not the glossies.
yo, them shits look fire on the
Uh,
video game, man. Yeah. I don't know who on the Wizards wore T Max this past week, but it didn't help because they lost 2 straight after going 7-1, including a 5-game win streak last week. They've lost 2 straight, 3 of the last 5. Neil, your point stands over mine. You were iffy about that 5-game win streak. I was gloating about it. And now we're back to, what is it? Shitty fourth quarter finishes, bad coaching, Westbrook turnovers, cussing out refs in a foreign language.
no wings at all.
Yo, the upcoming schedule is brutal. You got the Clips again, the Grizz again, back to back against the Bucks. You got the Jazz. We're going to talk about them a little bit later. And then a whole fucking week-long trip in New York City. You got Brooklyn and the Knicks back to back at MSG. So Times have been rough. They're going to continue to be rough. What's the Haps?
Yeah, so unfortunately, they were looking good, had won 7 of their last 8, have an opportunity to win another game against the Celtics when Jaylen Brown is hurt. Doors cracked open for them to take advantage. They have a 5-point lead with 47 seconds to go, and then they just utterly collapse. They let Jason Tatum get 3 layups in a row, no defensive resistance whatsoever. Literally on the second of those 3 layups, Tatum falls on the baseline. He's probably sweating a ton. The floor is slick. They inbound the ball to Brad right there and then. He slips out of bounds. And so instead of calling a timeout, just the same way that the Brooklyn Nets blew the game against the Wizards blew the game with a turnover. And that's how they lost to the Celtics.
Scott Brooks thought he was Phil Jackson for a minute, not calling a timeout and shit.
It's just moronic. And it's just like, how does nobody on the bench say, hey, look, there's 15 seconds left. Call a fucking timeout and advance the ball and don't be an idiot.
Who's going to say that shit to him? Mo Wagner?
Jerome,
Hey, coach.
Jerome Robinson.
Who's going to say that shit to him on the bench?
Alvin Bartons in Latvia.
Hey, coach, I'm not the smartest guy in the in the room, but I think we have one timeout with 15. Who's gonna say that shit to him?
Oh god.
So and then they come out and just get skunked by John Morant and the Grizzlies, and so all of a sudden
that game was close. It was again. I went for a fucking diaper change. I come back and it's a 14-point game. Even you had tweeted, it was like, "Hey, we in the fourth quarter. It's only a single-digit game." Or something like that.
10-point game.
And I turn around, it's like it's not motherfucker, it's 18 points.
Shout out to the Grizzlies coach. Who's their
Taylor
coach?
Jenkins.
Yo, second youngest team in the league, and they play defensive like that.
For
What's
sure.
his name? Taylor Jenkins.
Yeah. He's like one of those coaches that like under the radar, but gets his team to play defense hard. So
where's he
can beat the Wizards
from?
team.
I sound like the junkies right now. Where's he from? I've never heard of him.
I feel like you can just guess and say like, oh, he's like some Budenholzer or Popovich apparative or something.
Okay. Oh, so he's inherited. He's an inherited control, Zane.
Taylor Jenkins. Corporate,
corporate.
He was an assistant coach.
Taylor Jenkins.
Yeah.
He was an assistant coach for Mike Budenholzer for 5 years in Atlanta. But
Aren't they all, Neil?
He's like,
aren't they all?
Taylor Jenkins is also like a backup 2 guard for like the Hornets, but he's also like the financial advisor at your company.
Yeah, I feel like Budenholzer had like 4,000.
But the dude's job is a redhead. Like, what's that?
I said, I feel like Budenholzer had like 4,000 assistants. Like everybody who has a fucking coaching job was his assistant. No wonder he did so damn well.
Yeah.
And in the lineage, they all fall under Popovich because
Like so Mike Holmgren of this shit.
So who are the coaches that other people inherit from? So I know Bruce Brown, for example, was a Popovich guy.
Brent Brown,
right?
or Bruce Brown.
Brent Brown. I'm sorry, Bruce Brown. Brent Brown.
Yeah. And Brent Brown sucked.
This man about to say Bruce Bowen.
Bruce Brown's an NBA creative player on 2K.
Yeah,
Bruce Brown.
So I didn't know. I didn't even know like Budenholzer was like creating these little clones. And
Budenholzer came from Popovich.
Throwing him around.
Correct.
Yeah. He's the pop tree.
Yeah. Well, who
new kind of guy popping off?
But who else is there? Who's like one of the founding fathers? I mean, I can't. It's NFL's different. There's a lot more, but
yeah, so many more.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, Phil Jackson doesn't have many. He had Kurt Rambis, which didn't work out too well.
Yeah, Phil, you would have thought was one of those guys, right? That just kind of like developed these coaches and like
you can't teach
started
that
scattering them around.
Psychology.
I know you can't, but I mean, yeah, I know. What else is going on around the NBA? The Suns and the Jazz are killing it out west. The Suns played the Lakers last night. Another one of those wild ejections. Devin Booker gets thrown out for a double. He had already had a tee and got a second tee for
No. It was two technicals in the span of a minute.
Back to back, right? Yeah.
He got in the first technical. The referee's going away to go call it. And he gives a hard bounce pass to another ref that's like, 3 feet away.
Yeah.
And so then this other ref, the third ref in the equation, then comes in and gives him the second
what
tech
the fuck? Yeah.
and says, "You're out of here." They did
Joey Crawford.
Well, Mark Davis, and I forget the white guy's name that was there, but also supposedly a clown according to Twitter.
Yeah. Taylor Jenkins, right? Oh, I'm sorry.
Taylor
But
No,
you know,
it's funny. It's funny because when it comes to refereeing, like we can't. There's no way you can use analytics to talk about refereeing, right? Because it's all like spirit of the moment type shit. Like a ref to be calling that stupid shit, like you got to be thinking about what the fuck is going on in his life, either on the court or off the court. For you to just double T a motherfucker for no reason, like just sometimes it's really bizarre. Like I want to talk about some of the previous like really bogus ass ejections. We talk about Rasheed Wallace that one time when he got tossed just for kind of just staring at the ref for a little bit. It was like a
the Tim
prolonged
Duncan
stare.
one. The Tim Duncan one. Where he was just laughing on
Joey
the bench,
Crawford.
and
Like,
he's like
one of my favorite
what,
ejections ever, man.
what was going on in Joey Crawford's day that day for him to be looking at Tim Duncan laughing and saying, you know what, that fucking pisses me off.
30-second blowjobs. 30-second blowjobs.
Like these refs, man. Like I don't know, man.
I mean, to an extent, I don't understand, but
Zane understands
to be in a
everything,
position
everyone.
where
I love it.
You're constantly getting fucking yelled at, right? It's
Yeah,
like it got to build
of
some
course
sort of
there's
angst,
that,
right? Now,
Yeah.
I've seen some horrible officiating. I've seen a lot of bad officiating, but yeah, at the end of the day, you got to be impartial, right? I don't know. You'd have to find like somebody who's like dead inside or some shit.
Yeah, Zane's one of those good. There's good cops too, guy.
Yeah. The second of the season was it Draymond was barking at James Wiseman like on the way back.
Yeah.
Oh, and the ref thought he was talking barking.
The ref thought he was.
Draymond was like,
Yo, that was funny, man. That
And
was
the worst
so funny,
part
man.
is even when they find out they're wrong, it doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't
Like,
matter,
It's
no.
over. Like I've seen an NFL game where like the dude accidentally touched the official because some accident and he got fucking thrown out the fucking games. You can't.
Well, didn't JJ Redick toss the ball, like roll the ball to the ref the other day? He got tech. He got a tech because
Yeah, I mean that's a disrespectful thing. You know what I'm saying?
Showing him up.
Showing him up.
I don't know. I think these refs just need to learn and understand. Nobody's looking to watch
the game
you
ain't
in
about
this
you,
game.
bro.
We don't want to hear whistles. More whistles is bad basketball.
We
They're kind of like security, like jail security guards in a sense, or maybe they think they are. I don't know.
Oh, we're getting real close to like plantation talk right now. So let's just
Hey,
let's
we
go-
need to
let's
stay
close
away
it out
from
at that.
that Creighton head coach was off his wagon.
Yo, it's the same
Sheesh.
concept, man. Yeah,
It's
it
the
is.
same concept.
Yeah, shit. What the fuck? Either way,
Back to your cell,
Booker-
Redick.
Booker got tossed. The Suns still handled LA with LeBron. Of course, they don't got AD, but the Suns have been fun to watch. I don't know if anybody's been watching League Pass or highlights or anything, but the Suns, they're 23-11. I want to talk about the Jazz too, because sometimes you forget the flow of the games and the standings, and you kind of look at the standings for the first time in like a week, and you're just like, holy shit, the fucking Jazz are 27-8.
that was
Right?
I thought
Yeah. So
So for
and
me,
the Suns are. Go ahead.
with the Suns, so one of my boys from college, he actually moved out to Phoenix. So, he's turned into a, honorary Suns fan. And he was talking like, I wouldn't say out of his ass at the beginning of the season, but he was like, oh, the Suns are going to win a playoff series in the West. And at first I was like, okay, no, they're not. Like literally Lakers, Clippers, Denver, maybe Dallas, already 4 teams I think are much better than the Suns. Obviously now the Suns are looking, very good. Chris Paul has obviously done wonders for them, which is not unsurprising. He did wonders for OKC in the regular season last year as well. Good veteran player. Like, honestly, the Wizards would be better with a Chris Paul than a Russell Westbrook right now, but that's a whole different conversation. So it's been fun to see the Suns do what they do, but, when the playoffs come, I think we'll really see, okay, what is Devin Booker really made of? And, can he take them to that next level?
Booker's what, 24 now?
I don't know.
23, 24? Yeah, he's young as shit.
out of the two, Utah and Phoenix, I think Utah has more of a chance to do some damage in the playoffs just because they are a little more older and experienced, and they're a defensive team. I mean, Quinn Snyder, I wanted him to come to the Wizards a while ago because I always admired the way he coached up his team.
Good coach.
I like a coach with good hair too, man.
Fantastic.
Fantastic hair.
Quinn Snyder looks like he plays like a great, like grizzled attorney, and like,
With a stressed out attorney that finally gets the case that really like brings the best out of him when he's been he's been settling
he could have easily played McNulty's part in The Wire. Like,
yeah, man.
I was thinking McConaughey in A Time to Kill.
I was gonna say 95 McConaughey too. Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Lincoln Lawyer.
a good chain smoking attorney.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
He hits a stogie every night.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right
He's
now.
out.
He
He's at the
goes
fucking
home.
bar after the hearing.
Yeah.
He's guilty. He's
Or
fucking
he
guilty.
just blows
I
that shit
can't
right
do
out of
anything.
his bedroom window, like just
Writes out a strategy on napkins at the bar and shit.
All the-
Where's the glove too?
All the evidence is there. There's nothing I can fucking do.
You're right. But no. Utah has anchors in the front and back.
Yeah.
They've got Gobert and they've got Donovan Mitchell. They've got an experienced point guard, and they got the most unathletic looking but best shooter in the NBA in Joe Ingles. So,
Oh, I thought you were going to go Bojan Bogdanovic.
yeah, Bogdanovich too, man. I mean, they've got
They've got pieces. Conley and cash considerations. Jordan Clarkson off the bench.
Yep, exactly. And so
They got the chip on
what
their
I
shoulder
what I
last year.
particularly like about Utah and Phoenix is because they are the antithesis to super teams, right? I mean, they are the anti-super team. Fuck your big three. This
They're
is how you build your
well-constructed
team.
depth, just
This
like
is
Toronto was.
This is how you build your team. When we talk about, especially with like Phoenix, you bring one veteran of Hall of Fame type leadership, right? A good coach. You nail your draft picks. You develop your draft picks. Ayton right now averaging a double-double, but Booker obviously leading the team in scoring by a landslide. And now they're second in the West, and they just pounded LeBron last night. So, and they're all young. Like I said, they're all in their mid-20s, 25, 26.
Yeah.
I think Chris Paul is the oldest by a landslide on that roster. And the Jazz the same way. You got a runaway superstar in his mid-20s. You got a guy like Mike Conley, who's probably like the glue of the roster, of the locker room, backing him up.
Making
Rudy
his
Gobert.
first All-Star
Rudy
appearance.
Let's not forget that Utah had a little bit of off-the-court turmoil at the end of the season.
Yeah,
There was
right.
a lot of shit that I heard about between Donovan and Rudy, and they worked that out. I thought that Rudy was going to get moved over the offseason, and they traded it out. So props.
Some of that was over the COVID shit too, right?
Right,
Yeah.
because Rudy Gobert obviously was the one
This
that
motherfucker sneezed on him and
created
shit.
the shutdown. Because he goofed around, touched
Cover your
all the
mouth.
journalists.
That night that it came out the
When
Rudy.
he touched the mics and shit.
Yeah, all the recorders.
That's when they officially the NBA ended like
I think that was the turning point, like in my personal life too. Like that was like the landmark moment, right? Like for COVID, like that was part of like the whole thing. Like we were so blown at what Rudy did, not even knowing what COVID was like. Right?
Yeah.
We were pissed.
Like I remember I was at Joe's Hoop District run and we heard the news, oh, they suspended the season. And we were like, holy shit, we're out here playing fucking pickup right now. Things we would never consider doing over the past year, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's just trending on Twitter right now too. March 2020. It's crazy that it's been a
1 year later.
Fucking crazy. So much has changed, and it's almost you can't even imagine it being the way it was before. But we'll keep it at basketball for a minute because James Harden just got his jersey number retired for the Rockets, which I thought was really fucking weird. After all
Very
that shit you
unique
heard,
timing.
I mean, I know what he meant to the city, and I know like his overall tenure in Houston is positive. But the way that shit kind of ended, and for them to announce that they're going to retire jersey, I just feel like don't retire numbers if you don't mean it. We've seen it across so many sports where numbers get retired for random. If the Celtics retire one more number, I think they're going to go to triple digits on their jerseys and shit.
ABC camp.
Yeah, they always got like some random ass number. Like you got a power forward wearing number 58, looking like a middle linebacker and shit. Like,
one quick Houston thing. I see that Houston went 4 for 45 from 3 last night.
Oh my lord!
Oh, they're back on one of those streaks again. Okay.
45s. Here are the numbers: Ben McLemore 0 for 7, Sterling Brown 1 for 8, Daniel House 0 for 6, John Wall 0 for 5, Eric Gordon 0 for 5, Mason Jones 1 for 5, David Nwaba 0 for 2. Their top shooter was Justin Patton 2 for 4.
Damn, that must have been like a dedication to Harden or some shit.
Right, 4 for 45.
That's wild.
Wait, this is one game.
This is last night, yeah, one game.
Oh, fuck.
Good shit.
How many
feel bad for
non-three
them.
pointers did they take? I don't mean to make you bury your face back in the box score, but how many shots did they take overall? I want to know how many non-threes they 47 fucking threes.
How many rebounds did the backup point guard have?
Oh, yeah.
Inside jokes.
Oh man, I hope Gennaro's not listening to this. Yeah, 4 for 47. They're on a 12-game losing streak. Shit is so rough out there that NBC Sports Washington felt compelled to pivot from the Wizards' struggles to point out that the Wizards, John Wall, name dropping John Wall too, that they've lost 12 straight.
Tomorrow on Fox News has small ball gone too far.
Canceling the big man, huh?
Yeah, canceling the big man.
Cancel the big man.
Yo,
Joel
we have
Embiid.
Roy Hibbert on the line.
Oh, fuck. Roy's pissed.
The best
Roy might have been Roy Hibbert might have been the turning point of the demise of centers in the NBA. That was it.
Roy
is actually Kendrick Perkins.
You know who I thought
fucking
go extinct like during his career? Fucking Al Jefferson. I remember Al came in. He was like, "Fuck, he was all."
He was good for Charlotte.
I was an irrational Al Jefferson stan. I fucking love his game
until the game changed and he became a fucking
You're
he
right.
Still gave the Wizards buckets.
You know, I never pondered on that. I'm so glad you brought that.
Oh my God, I forgot Al Jefferson existed.
Yeah, I
was like, who's Al Jefferson?
He was a bucket
all night.
He's like Paul Millsap's cousin or some shit.
Al Jefferson had a mean spin move out the post, and he one of the dudes that didn't look like he could do it, but he did it. The old box figure, you just felt like he was too stiff, but he was flexible as fuck.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the flexible badge.
Damn, now he's in China. He's probably fucking those dudes up in China.
Fucking them up.
Yeah,
he's fucking. Oh, good for you, Al. Good for you. He must Al.
Be. It's like when they fucking saw Godzilla. Like, shit.
Oh, he's eating some steamed duck feet post game after flexing on like a bunch of 5'10" centers. God damn,
it's fucking working shit.
Good for you, Al.
Him and Mike Sweetney down there eating.
Yeah, exactly. And Stephon Marbury show up out of nowhere, like, yo, Stephon know the whole town.
He got a fucking statue, and
he has a documentary coming out, right?
Wait, no metaphor. He's got a statue in China, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's a legend in China.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was so happy for Stephon because China, bro, his life was fucked up.
It was fucked up.
He was eating gasoline on live videos and shit. I was like, oh god, it's not going to end well.
The man went right back to Coney Island, like full circle.
God, yeah.
Shout out to Coney Island. And anything else to bring up for the NBA? I think we've covered it all. We'll see how the All-Star games coming up. There you go. Hey,
Sunday.
There you go. All-Star games coming up soon.
It's going to be a terrible slam dunk contest and a pretty interesting 3-point contest.
What's the lineups? Share them real quick.
Shit, now you're gonna.
Oh, you gotta pull it up. I thought you was gonna just pop off the dome.
So
the way Zay did with the fucking cast of 3 men and a baby.
The slam dunk contestants are Obi Toppin, Cassius Stanley, and from the Portland Trailblazers, I don't even know how to pronounce his first name, Anthony Simons.
Anthony Simons looked like he's 8 years old. I didn't even know he had like leaps like that.
Yeah, because they got pretty much turned down by all the stars. Like Zion said, no, I'm not doing it. So,
fuck this
good
shit.
for Anthony Simons. I'm playing my career on the Portland Trailblazers right now. We ain't doing too good right now. I'm starting to get hit with those excessive calls for pass because give me the fucking ball, Anthony.
That hand keep going up.
3-point contest looking kind of nice. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Steph Curry. Replace the slam dunk contest. Just put King of the Hill and let them all go one-on-one. I wish.
You just mentioned the 3-point contest, right?
Correct.
With a bunch of dunkers. All I heard was dunkers. All I heard was LaVine and Donovan Mitchell and.
All I heard were a bunch of stars.
All right. Well, it's usually in February. Is it coming up? How many weeks from now?
No, it's Sunday.
Sunday
coming up. Oh, this weekend.
Abdullah is like, what day is it? What month is it? What year is it?
I really am part of the Junkies tonight. The fuck. We're gonna hop over to the NFL. Alex Smith officially released from the Washington football team.
Not
so
officially, but it's coming.
Not officially? Okay. So he's a free agent. I'm not sure if the market's going to be nice to him at this point, considering who teams are pursuing at this point.
I think he's going to be a veteran option that somebody picks up.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll have a chance to compete for the starting job in training
Yeah.
camp the same way Case Keenum kind of was.
He's earned that much, right? Yeah. A starting quarterback competition.
Yeah, like I think he's never done anything, glorious and pretty, but he wins games. That's what he's pretty much done for most of his career in the last, several seasons.
Damn. Good for him, man. I mean, to go through what he did, and you made your 94 mil because you played out your contract, right? And still want to keep playing. Like, fuck.
He wasn't retiring and giving up 20 million like that.
I remember I had complete random. I was like, there was no way 36-year-old Alex Smith was ever gonna play football again. I really never saw that coming. So we'll see where he ends up. If he ends up somewhere. Russell Wilson, out of nowhere, left field, this shit popped off onto the headlines. Airing out his grievances publicly, throwing the front office under the bus, saying he's not involved in enough personnel decisions. Threw the O-line under the bus, saying he gets hit too much. Then bullshits the question when they asked him if he's on the trade market or if he's going to be just if he's going to play out his time in Seattle. It's like when you and your girl on a serious break, like what constitutes a break at this point, right? Like hiding your Instagram posts and changing your Facebook status as single. It's kind of like that shit right now. That's what Russell
modern
Wilson
day
is.
Ross Rachel.
Yeah, there you go, Ross and Rachel. There you go, Zane. You can appreciate that.
No, we already had this conversation. I'm a friends guy, and that's why he doesn't like me.
Listen.
Zane's a friends guy. He's a friends guy.
I am a friends guy. However, Seinfeld is a better show.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, because this all came from I was telling him to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, right? Which is the funniest show ever for comedies.
Oh, you guys having private chats now?
You don't even know about all this shit.
Yo.
I'm glad you guys.
Steve Gutenberg got to change some diapers too, man.
Yeah.
I love Friends,
okay,
but still, there's levels.
It's no competition. So, what's your take on that, Neil?
About what? Are we talking about theater? Or are we talking about
Seinfeld versus? No. Right now, it's just
I've probably never watched Seinfeld from beginning to end in order. I've probably seen a lot of episodes just randomly because they were on TV.
Anybody's seen Seinfeld from beginning to end, like in chronological order.
I enjoy the show, but Friends is a show that I've watched every episode 5 to 10 times and like can tell you the dialogue like as I'm watching it, kind of thing.
I can see that.
It's one of those things that when you get
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I can see that. Yeah.
It's like when you're younger, you're Michael Jackson. When you get older, you start to appreciate Prince a little more.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like that. Yeah. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, it's good. Spot on.
But anyways,
sir.
Russell Wilson, I was aware of some destinations that he had privately requested. Maybe he wanted to be traded to, like the Cowboys, the Bears, etc. But this is pretty shocking. I mean, it's very rare that a guy of his ilk, is possibly available on the trade block. I mean, do you guys think there's any salvaging this? I mean, he's still in his prime.
No, have the Seahawks said anything back? Like, have they responded to anything that's
I doubt it. I mean, they're probably trying to handle it internally.
I don't know.
Pete Carroll probably sent him a fucking muffin basket or some shit.
It could be me just being naive, but I feel like this isn't basketball. Guys get unhappy in football, and kind of pushing your way out of an NFL team just seems a lot more challenging than any other sport. So, look at Deshaun Watson. He's still stuck in Houston in a standoff. I don't know whether Russell's stuck. I get Russell's grievances, but I don't see how he gets moved. But I don't know. I'll be surprised. Miami was on the list, Dula.
Miami's going to be on everyone's list, every quarterback that's available. But this Russell Wilson shit, just to kind of wrap it up, but just his abrupt decline from putting up MVP numbers in the first half of the season, just about just shit in the bed the rest of the season to this shit. No, so I can't imagine how the way he started to the way he ended for you, right?
He is. I saw this midseason. I actually had bet on a game.
Mm-hmm.
I had bet on the Cardinals and the Seahawks, and Seahawks were up by like double digits. And at some point in the fourth quarter, they just started blitzing the shit out of Russell Wilson.
This is the DK Metcalf chases down Buda Baker.
It was that game, and they started blitzing the shit out of him. And he just, I'm not saying that's the answer. What I'm saying is he looked befuddled.
Abysmal.
Like he looked so bad. Like he was just like panicking. He was just throwing the fucking ball just up for grabs. He threw an interception. They ended up losing that game, and that was the turning point for him in that season. Obviously, the O-line has been pretty suspect for a while. The running game has been hit or miss. They've lost some of their rushers. The thing with Russell Wilson is that he is constantly playing off schedule. He's constantly trying to make this huge freaking play. And this happens to quarterbacks who have bad defenses, right? I mean, every play they drop back, they're trying to look for this home run. And what ends up happening is nothing's in rhythm, nothing's on time. I mean, when's the last time you've seen Russell Wilson just throw a slant, 3-step drop slant? It's everything's dropping back, running around in fucking circles and shit. So he's really got to work on that. And they really need to adjust the game plan to account for, the protection issues, which is probably very difficult mid-season. Aaron Rodgers dealt with this a couple years ago. I don't know if you guys remember, Aaron Rodgers had a really down year, and people were saying that he was slipping, and he suffered from the same thing. He was dropping back. He was trying to hit a home run every play, and he adjusted pretty quickly, and he came back and had, an MVP year. So
how much of Russell's grievances with Seattle is the fact that do they not have a run game, or is the offensive line that bad that the consequences the fucked up run game?
The offensive line's pretty bad. And I'll kick it to you, Bill. The offensive line is pretty bad, but they've also have a trio of rushers, and one guy has always been injured.
Always hurt. Yeah,
Chris Carson's hurt or Penny's hurt. And the other, dilemma is their defense is so bad, and they don't have a pass rush, so they can't really protect. They're struggling to run the ball. He plays off schedule constantly, and you got
DK Metcalf, so you're compelled to do that all the time.
Yeah, of course. So DK, I mean, he has some weapons. Doug Baldwin's gone.
He's gone, right?
Yeah, and he was a baby when they had this monstrous defense. And now he's playing a different role now. He's the guy, Yeah.
I'll say my pipe dream is that Russell Wilson gets moved to Dallas, and then Washington football team signs Dak Prescott.
Give me Russell Wilson. They're gonna have Dak Prescott.
Well, if Russell's saying that he doesn't want to come to Washington, unlike Westbrook, then you're kind of SOL.
Westbrook.
I don't want to play Russell Wilson either.
True.
So to that point, including what Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott, there's a few other quarterbacks that are not totally free agents, but their futures are uncertain. You got Sam Darnold, you got Jimmy G. We said Deshaun, we said Russell, Dak Prescott. So those five. Marcus Spears had a bit this. I was just gonna kind of prelude the discussion with Marcus Spears and what he was sharing earlier today, which kind of sparked my imagination to bring this up on the show tonight. He thinks Jimmy G may return or go back to New England. I think he thinks this is the perfect segue for Jimmy G to get out of his situation in San Francisco and go back to the guy who drafted him, the guy who had initially had plans for him to. Yeah, exactly. So Deshaun to Miami, that's been the popular prediction. He's got Russell Wilson to the Saints.
Wow.
I don't know if there's some New Orleans bias there since he played for New Orleans at one point, but and then Dak stays with Dallas. So Neil, you had some thoughts on where you think some of these quarterbacks might end up.
Yeah, so it's just very interesting to see, what all the teams' perceptions of their current players are. So like the Jets GM today was essentially like, oh yeah, we're listening to offers if somebody calls about Sam Darnold. Whereas, the 49ers and, John Lynch, who's the GM there, is essentially like, no, we believe in him. Like, and I believe that full-heartedly. We don't know if we're hearing a Tommy Shepard with John Wall kind of thing, but, that's what he's saying right now. Obviously, Watson, theoretically is going to get moved. I don't know. I just don't see how Seattle would ever give up on Russell Wilson. He's a top 5 quarterback easily right now. So, and Dak Prescott, I think whether it's another franchise tag in Dallas or whatever
He's
it is,
in Dallas too.
Yeah. So
I don't think Russ or Dak are moving. The other guys saying
I don't see Russell Wilson being traded to not a rival, but another. I mean, he could be traded to an NFC team, but if you're the Seahawks, do you really want to play Russell? I mean, the Saints next year if you end up having a chance to make the playoffs. As for Jimmy G, I don't buy it only because I know Kyle Shanahan does not fully believe in Jimmy G.
And
He
that's important.
Sure.
There's been pivotal moments in games where Jimmy G makes a mistake and Kyle Shanahan immediately reins in the playbook and makes it very simple for Jimmy Garoppolo to the point where he's throwing screens and simple shit. He did it in the game against Minnesota. He threw an interception. Next thing you know, they're running the ball 10 times in a row.
Kyle Shanahan's like, damn, I wish I had Kirk Cousins again.
And that was my next point. I mean, Kirk Cousins going back to San Fran is probably what Kyle Shanahan wants. Kirk knows his system. He's a great play action quarterback, a great motion quarterback. So that's what I would see. And then, Dak, and I don't see Dak leaving, but if, maybe he goes to the Redskins to spite the Cowboys, but I don't know.
I'd be all for it.
Zane is a Kyle Shanahan, Kirk Cousins combination enthusiast.
I love Kyle Shanahan. Definitely top 3 play caller in the league. And I think Kirk,
But you love Kirk because of him.
Of course, I love Kirk in the right system is a very good quarterback. The problem with Kirk is he got paid so much money and it created a different expectation. He went through 4 or 5 different offensive coordinators. There's no protection there. But that's the marriage that I think Kyle Shanahan wants.
Cool beans. We'll see how it all ends up. I just want to win. Daniel Jones still in New York. There was some slight rumors that New York might move on from Daniel Jones, but I think he's still a guy. So
they moved on from Golden Tate. That was a fucking failed experiment.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. Okay.
There's going to be a ton of free agents that are cut loose in this upcoming week before moratorium starts on the 15th because the salary cap is, I think it got reduced essentially. So everybody's going to be looking to get rid of their dead cap.
Yep.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and wrap up the NFL. There's some fights last weekend. There's another one coming up this weekend. Real quick, Canelo, TKO last weekend.
Dominated the dude.
Over Yildirim. Zane, I know you caught last week's fight. You're probably going to catch this week's too, so what's going on?
It's a glorious time for fight fans. UFC damn near has an event every freaking weekend, and it's freaking crazy. And it honestly makes my weekend because I don't watch a lot of NBA early in the season. NFL is obviously not here. I never know when hockey and baseball is on. I'm always surprised when the fucking World Series is on. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, Canelo fought this weekend, and Canelo, he was with Golden Boy originally. He had some beef with Oscar De La Hoya, so he's getting out of that contract. He has a 12-fight contract with DAZN. He wants to fight 4 times this year. If anybody doesn't know, Canelo is the best boxer on the planet right now, and I don't think it's close. I mean, this guy started at pretty much, I think 147. He moved up, 154. He fought at 160. He fought Triple G. He beat him in the last fight. Obviously, made some controversy in the first 2 fights, and then he basically moved up to 164 and 168. And now he's looking to unify the titles on Cinco de Mayo against Billy Joe Saunders. And if anybody saw this fight, it was just a glorified sparring match. Canelo is fast. He's strong. He has defense. He's basically top dog right now, pound for pound, the best. So I'm hoping this year is better for boxing and he faces some sort of contender because he's just head and shoulders above everybody. And we're hoping obviously to see Joshua and Fury this year, which apparently the contract has been sent over. If that gets signed, I don't know if they're waiting for COVID to end because if that's not going to happen probably, but if the restrictions loosen up, you're talking about Wembley Stadium. Yeah, you're talking about Wembley Stadium. Fury versus Joshua is going to be the event of the year.
That's going to be what, round 3?
No. This. So Wilder and Fury aren't fighting right now.
Right.
So Joshua and Fury is next one.
That's not going to be finished out, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be finished. Wilder is just he's on a steady decline. He fired his trainer after one of his head lead trainers after the last fight, and he's kind of been exposed. And Joshua's stock is a little higher now. Fury is obviously the champion, so that's the fight in boxing we're looking to see. Some of these other fights don't happen. We've obviously talked about the promotional issues in boxing and all the different belts and all the nonsense. But in the UFC, I don't know if you guys watch a lot of UFC, but Israel Adesanya is fighting this weekend, and this guy is just a fucking monster. I mean, he's at 185 right now. He's charismatic, he's skilled, he's technical. He's fighting a Polish fighter this weekend with major power. I don't even know how to pronounce his name.
Marcin Gortat.
He basically, he's like the Polish hammer, yeah. So he's fighting this weekend. So if you get a chance to watch any fight this weekend, definitely turn on Israel Adesanya's fight. He's a freaking monster. I know he wants to move up to heavyweight and fight John Jones, but for now, he's basically taken on these guys. He's a tall, skinny guy, right? And he's fighting these monster power punchers and just, crumbling them. So it's definitely great to watch. If you're going to watch a fight this weekend, definitely, legally watch that fight. Not through.
You got to send those links, bro. Come on.
Hey, I'll send you the link to ESPN Plus.
Real quick, analyze Marcin Gortat as an MMA fighter right now. In 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
He said a screen assist.
Zangief from Street Fighter. I don't know.
Oh man, I feel like he'd be one of those dudes that just kind of wrestles you to the ground, and just like puts you to sleep, like just.
I see him more of a striker. I don't see him as a grappler. I see him more like a striker.
A striker. Okay.
Yeah. I see striker too. Battle. No wrestling game. Can't fight off the back foot.
Right.
Yeah. Needs to be spoon fed some W's.
Ooh.
Some
bunnies.
Yeah. So definitely fighting fight fans. Hopefully there'll be a lot more this year.
Cool. And most of these fights are broadcasted on ESPN Plus. Is that right? Is that where the majority of the fights? So
Canelo is with DAZN. So every fighter has their own thing. Some people are with Showtime. Some people are with DAZN on boxing side. And obviously PBC does their fights on Fox too. And UFC is basically either on, it's usually on ESPN Plus, most of the UFC fights. And honestly, every weekend has been a really good fight, man. Like if you really want to watch a good fight, there's always something on every weekend, it seems.
Yeah.
I forget which fight it was, but it was funny when the ESPN Plus stream wasn't working very well, but all the illegal streams were firing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Honestly, ESPN stream, we can do a whole segment on this shit.
A Volo kit.
If there's any like business or entity that I've added more on Twitter, it's fucking ESPN streaming. I don't even know what the direct ad for their shit is, but it's pretty bad usually. So get your Reddits up, get your streams up. Get a subscription to Epics because that's how we kicking off theater. Jamal, you've been watching Saint Maud on Epics.
Epics. I don't use Epics for shit. I can't remember the last thing I watched on Epics, but I've been looking for this movie. This is a horror movie. For a while, I had no idea what platform it was on, but nonetheless, poked around on Apple and found it. So Saint Maud is from the A24 studio that brought us Hereditary and Midsommar, among some other fucking fantastic. Anytime A24 puts hands on something, I'm watching it. Like they have a fucking fantastic grasp of modern horror.
So wait, did you say this is the same director?
Not the same director, same studio.
Same studio, okay. Which I love Midsommar. You did not.
I didn't love it. I love Hereditary. Didn't love
Hereditary is so damn good. If you haven't seen Hereditary, watch Hereditary.
Modern horror classic.
Yeah.
This is the second time you guys have said this, so we're talking about this next week.
You don't do horror, Abdullah? You don't do horror?
I don't. Oh shit, it's horror. Fuck.
It's horror, but there's so much. What makes it a great movie? And sorry to cut. Like it's beyond that. Like that's what makes a great horror movie when there's an actual dramatic dynamic, whether it's family or the main character. And like Jamal, that scene at the dinner table, like to me, that made the movie. It's so fucking deep. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I bought that movie by the way. Like,
so can I
get it too?
Can I watch it while I'm working, like in the middle of a document, like just glance at it, like,
you gotta pay attention. You gotta pay attention for the Easter eggs, man.
It's only because it's a horror flick. No.
He needs to watch that in daytime hours.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched that. We went to Miami for a bachelor party, and we watched that one night when we stayed in. It was like 5 dudes, and we were huddled up in a fucking sofa bed together, super like weird shit. And we were huddled up at night, and we watched that movie, and we were fucking terrified, bro. And then when everybody went to sleep, I took my Bluetooth speaker and I put it by my friend's door, and I played the Hail Payman jump, the chant from the fucking movie. So good.
God damn,
this troll.
All right, real quick. Same Maud starring a woman named Morfydd, I believe his name is pronounced Morfydd Clark, as Maud, the main character, and Jennifer L as Amanda. So in this movie, Maud is a caretaker. She's a medical caretaker of Amanda. Amanda is a woman who used to be like a dancer, an artist, and I believe writer. She has stage 4 lymphoma, so she's getting basically a in-house like kind of nurse almost. The movie opens, however, with Maud. It's an overhead shot of her, and she's in like a hospital room, and her hands and her upper body like covered in blood, and the camera switching from her kind of in a shock state and a body like on a bed. Person is deceased. We don't know exactly what happened, but we're led to believe that Maud probably overdid something in a medical procedure or had some issue, something pop up where she went overboard and killed the person, right? So her being the caretaker of Amanda, and it parallels her her new role with Amanda being her caretaker, and also her relationship with God, and making sure that she does things to help Amanda cleanse herself of all vices, smoking, drinking, mess around with, people casually, like sex wise. And she makes this kind of her life duty. So she's talking to God throughout the movie about how she can basically salvage and save, Amanda. Maud also is very socially awkward. She has no friends really. Looks like she's had some relationships in disrepair, over the course of her life. She's very socially awkward. Just it's kind of uncomfortable to watch some of the scenes. But yeah, man. So basically this movie's about Maud kind of making atonement for what we believe to be her sins, and some very, very fucking disturbing shit happens obviously over the course of the movie. Subtle shit, but when you look at it, it really creeps you the fuck out. So pretty short watch. It's about hour and 30, hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. Starts a little slow, but once we get into the different things shifting throughout the film, and her relationship, especially with Amanda, starts to really change. It picks up like really quickly. If you want a good horror flick, I know they're kind of hard to come by these days. I highly recommend it. I give it a B+. Good fucking movie.
How did you fall
excited.
onto this shit? Like did you know about it because of the studio it was
So
filmed in, or
what's weird, man? I actually found out about St. Maud because a clothing line that I wear called Online Ceramics did a capsule for the film, and I was like, damn, A24 put some shit I didn't even know. But obviously with the lockdown and stuff being shifted out of the theaters and kind of moved around to different platforms, I think I would have known about it otherwise because I follow A24 stuff. But
okay,
I found out about it through the clothing drop. So yeah, and I think it came out, I think I checked IMDb, it came out in 2019, but for some reason it's just making its way to different platforms now.
It's weird 2 years later that it's just kind of getting hot.
Yeah, it's made in 2019.
I never heard of it. I got really good reviews.
Yeah.
is Epix part of like the Stars Network? Am I catching that right, or is it what is Epix?
It's a separate network, but honestly,
sometimes bundled in with like Stars and shows.
But you know how Stars has like that bundle of 5 different channels. They're all, I don't know, some variation of Stars.
Yeah.
And some of them have like a name like Epix or some shit.
Yeah, Epix is the same sort of deal. I have, frankly, I have a hard time telling the difference between Stars and Epix because it's the same kind of, mid-tier programming. I think Stars,
same logo scheme and shit.
Yeah, Stars got Power, the series Power, which is really good to put them out there. But I don't think Epix has landed a major show. They have some series, but just this week. So I canceled my subscription now that I've seen St. Maud. I've watched it twice.
I was about to say.
Usually I just go to Prime and I search my movie, and then it'll tell you more ways to watch. And it'll tell you
more ways to watch.
All the
I love
platforms
that
are integrated.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I'll do and see what it's on.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw Goodfellas on Prime the other day, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm just gonna have some background movie to watch." That shit was like free with ads. I'm like, okay, cool. This shit was like the TNT version and shit.
That's how I watch Goodfellas too. That YouTube TV.
Oh, the dub version. Oh,
up.
damn! Nah, you didn't watch it. I consider you not still having not watched it. There's no way you can watch that shit.
Real greaseball shit.
Yeah. So while Jamal's watching new shit, we got Neil over here watching old shit that's new shit to him.
Yeah.
So Neil you've been catching up or trying to catch up to grown man arts and cinema. You watched Karate Kid, A Time to Kill, and Coming to America.
Neil has
over
a
the
list.
span of what?
He created
Yeah.
a list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a big list.
Can you send me that list for review real quick? I just need to.
Well,
Read
it
it
has,
out loud, boy.
it has
Sure.
Sopranos and The Wire on it, so you already have a lot of catch up to do.
I do.
But
I
my
set
boy-
myself up for this shit. I set myself.
that's my
up for this shit.
boy.
I've seen A Time to Kill, so let's talk about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lord.
so Zane's talking about this long TV show list that I've had that I've watched in quarantine, which a little bit too long to get into right now, maybe for a future segment. But I have been watching some old time movies. So Karate Kid, the original, I watched because
Hold on, I got a problem with the term old time movies. Like,
Old timers.
Jamal's
Yeah.
coming for me now.
Yeah,
Oh,
2007.
Oh man.
Jesus, man, old time movies. All right, my bad.
But so Zane really wanted me to watch Cobra Kai, which is the remake and spin-off Netflix show about the Karate Kid group. And so I was like, okay, well, I have to watch the original Karate Kid to do that. Super good movie. The OG Mr. Miyagi. I enjoyed it. It was good and definitely set up Cobra Kai for me to absolutely love that. I would say Coming to America, I watched that one because the sequel is obviously coming up very soon on Amazon Prime.
Friday.
Definitely.
We don't care. We don't care.
Wow. Okay. Well, me and Jamal will be talking about it next week, probably.
I may
But
in it tomorrow night.
Fight the power, Neil.
But I obviously grew up Eddie Murphy. Like I only watched his more recent stuff. Like I watched Dr. Dolittle and shit like that. But
Eddie Murphy
hey,
sucks. Dr. Dolittle sucked.
OG Eddie Murphy, just as funny. I was
I don't know.
shit.
The sequel to Coming to America, I have no passion for it.
Why you can't be like that, man.
Really?
I mean,
So
I think
oh,
it's
y'all
gonna,
against?
I mean, I think it's gonna suck, but I'm still gonna watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't say I'm not gonna watch
yeah,
it, but
yeah.
do I have to be excited for it?
I'm firmly against reboots, and I don't think
Do I
that
have to be
kind of humor translates to now. I just
Exactly.
don't.
Okay,
I might
so
appreciate it, but
you just verbalized how I feel. So I don't. Why would I feel excited for some shit that you just described? No, I don't. I'm gonna watch it, but am I? Like he said, Coming to America, like reboots of certain movies. And Jamal, you've agreed to this too. We talked about this early on in our show that some movies, some things don't necessitate a reboot or need one at all. This is one of them. So
I like to have low expectations though, and that's just what I do to also
That-
be pleasantly surprised. That helps me.
and sure. But that's what this is why I'm not excited. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna watch.
Abdullah
it.
just has the door closed from the beginning, though. It
I
sounds
was saying, like it sounds like you don't even want to watch it.
I'm gonna watch it because it's
All right.
it's the thing to do. But
Beverly Hills Cop. If Beverly Hills Cop 4 came out, would you be excited?
I love the Beverly Hills Cops, but no, just in general, just the dynamic of Eddie Murphy has changed so much over the years, especially from what he was in the 80s to what he's gradually become, which is a steady decline in his content. Can we agree to that or not? I mean, is he anything close to Raw or Beverly Hills or Coming to America Eddie right now?
Oh, of course not. I mean,
He's
he's
not.
he's on that.
He's
He's on
not.
that
He's
Norbit
not.
Eddie right now.
He's not, and so to me, I'm sorry, Jamal, but to me, what he's doing now with the sequel is putting who he is now into that character that we cherish so much in the 80s. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what creates this imbalance that I'm just not excited to see. Does that make sense?
I kind of get it. Yeah. I mean, would you feel the same way if there weren't 20 plus years, 30 plus years between
30, yeah.
the original and the?
No, I wouldn't feel the same if the gap was closer.
Yeah. Maybe.
For me, it's
I
about the
wouldn't-
plot too, though. For me,
Everything, yeah.
What's so funny about that plot? For me, most of it. What's funny is he's coming to America,
Mhm.
and he's basically pretending to be a bum, right? And all the jokes that come with that, and all the interactions with people as a foreigner.
Yes, yeah.
That
yeah.
shit was just fucking hilarious. So for me, in my mind, I'm curious what they're gonna
Yes.
do to make this seem fresh. You know what I mean? Because that was the crux of the whole movie. That was funny to me.
Yeah.
So
And to
I'm
that
curious.
point, I think that the first movie left you at a place where you weren't yearning to figure out what was happening next. That was it. right?
Sure.
That
I mean,
was
I'll
it.
take it.
That was that.
I'll take it.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I'll take it.
Right.
No, I just
So-
have low expectations.
All
Getting
right.
to
So
that, getting towards the end of the movie too, I was like, because girl had left him at the subway. I was like, this is really how this shit's going to end. I wanted some happy ending kind of shit. And then, obviously she comes down the aisle. I was like, oh, I can see she light skinned behind that veil.
Neil, you
It's
don't
gonna
watch too
turn
many
out.
movies, do you?
yeah, right.
So
By the way, that's the show title. She light skinned behind that veil.
She lies
Yeah.
came behind that veil. Stamp it. So
So what else you watch,
I know you.
Neil?
I know you watched The Time to Kill, and I want to quickly go into it because we're peaking here on time. But The Time to Kill, just watching the race relations or
Mhm.
or the
Very
lack
pertinent.
of it in the '90s and how you see it today, live in full effect. What are your thoughts on that?
yeah, obviously the premise of that movie is, an African American Samuel L. Jackson's daughter, 10-year-old, I think, gets
Mhm.
brutally raped by two white guys. She can't ever have kids ever again. Those two white guys are going to be put on trial, and Samuel L. Jackson's like, well, I just saw these other two white kids who raped somebody get off. And though he goes and kills them.
You're my secret weapon. You one of them.
Who wanna know?
And so that cast was just phenomenal. Samuel L. Jackson, Matthew
Yeah.
McConaughey, Sandra Bullock, I think Ashley Judd's even in it,
Mm.
on and on and on. But like you said, Abdul, still very pertinent to
We some dogs, man. I'm sorry.
Yo, Ashley Judd is fuck.
Yeah,
man.
man.
Zane is just picturing her
She was-
glistening
she was-
skin.
And I was right, Neil. She was sweating the whole time.
Like
No
butter.
AC in that house, man. Like,
Mm.
Yeah. No arguments there. But
Mama,
I've-
are you and Daddy fighting?
no, honey.
Oh Lord.
Oh,
So,
and Sandra
I've been-
Bullock from
Yeah.
Annandale, Virginia.
Yes,
Sandra
they deserve to
Bullock.
die, and I hope they burn in hell.
Burning hell. Oh,
Yeah,
Kevin
so-
Spacey was great
Yep.
in that movie.
Right.
And for me, it just kind of one of the things about his character was it just showed so transparently how people in elected office, lawyers, how openly they plot against colored folks. One of the biggest subplots of the movie was the location of the courthouse
right. Where
right?
the trial took
and
place.
where the trial took place, and how much they desired to and tried to get to a new location, and the judge wasn't having it. And that was part of Kevin Spacey as a lawyer, as a prosecutor. His whole game plan was that whole thing was let's keep it here in this town where we know it's. I don't know. He named the percentage. It was 90%, 95% white.
Right.
Et cetera,
Samuel
et
L.
cetera.
Jackson looks over to the 12 people and said, "That's a jury of my peers."
Yeah.
Spot on impression, Neil. Spot on.
Hey, McConaughey, you got him though.
Now imagine that little girl
It was white.
was white.
White. Put it.
Wait, Neil, what was the two best shows you watched out of the last year?
Oh, Sopranos and The Wire.
Identical.
Good setup. So there you got it. Neil's catching up. Jamal's moving forward.
By the way,
Know what
Neil
to
is
watch.
fucking spoiled as shit now. I
He's-
can't
yeah,
send him
yeah.
shit. He just
Yeah.
bitches and moans about every
Hey.
recommendation.
Mhm.
Hey, put
Yeah,
that put that show checklist on the share drive, man, so we can all get that shit.
Will do.
I thought I'm just gonna look at it.
You get the,
I'm,
you
gonna
getting
look
the
at it. I'm just gonna look at it and do nothing.
best,
I'm gonna give you all. Go. Is that? Was that?
he's getting the best shit handpicked for him. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
pretty
He
much.
is, and I warned him. I said, if you watch these shits first, everything else is gonna be fucking downhill, man. Like your expectations, snobby
being
as
s-
motherfucker.
You're being spoon fed like Martin Gortat. There you go. That's the
Yeah.
second Martin Gortat reference
I love it. I love
in
it.
30 minutes. Shout out Martin Gortat. There you go. The checklist is set. We're gonna wrap this up with Detention. We got a few candidates on here. I'm gonna start it off. Greg Abbott. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet and dumb. Opening Texas back up. The funny thing to me about this is more so about how they announced this shit. How they announced this shit, like some superhero type shit. Like coming to the rescue. 100% masks off. We are open. This is dumb. This is dumb, of course.
Let me just
another.
say, this
Yeah.
announcement came the day after there was an article published about Houston being like the only city in America with all strains, all global.
Oh my gosh, they got UK,
Yo.
South Africa.
and UN of COVID strains.
As a pothead, hearing the term we got all strains, right? You don't want to hear it that way, man.
Slightly
He said we got all strains. we got
Yeah.
we got the hybrid shits.
We got Northern Lights 19. We got COVID 19.
You got indica, sativa, you name it.
Afghan Kush.
They gonna start naming their COVIDs like they name weed jars. Man.
Gorilla glue.
Oh yeah,
Gorilla
yeah.
Glue.
I got the Bratislava Wales fusion joint right now.
Did you see the Onion article I sent in the fucking chat? I was fucking dying, dude. New Texas law requires all masks to have word pussy written across front.
Stupid.
If you feel need to put on a
Stupid,
mask to
stupid.
protect your friends, your neighbors, or yourself, that's your personal choice. All we're doing is requiring you to identify yourself as a total fucking pussy if you opt to do so.
I just think this is going to be it's the start of a domino effect because Mississippi opened completely. I bet Georgia's next and everybody else. So just get ready for it.
It's just,
Hey, listen.
I can't. We've talked about this at multiple times over the past year. It's just the definition of moronic and
Yeah.
just like, come on, people. Literally, we know that this is an effective way to stop the spread. Yet a year later, one, people don't know how to wear a mask over their nose. And two, now they're like, oh, okay, fuck it. Like, let's just get rid of it. Open season again.
We're doing so well. We're doing so well. Oh,
Hey, prayers up to Texas. Looks like Deshaun Watson knew something we didn't, so that's why he's trying to get the fuck up out of there. Knicks fans, it's just so funny listening. It just feels like a Knicks fan listened to our podcast last week, talking all that shit about Julius Randle, and all of a sudden he hits the airwaves in comparisons to Chris Bosh. Jamal, what's up with this shit, man?
I don't know, man. Randall was trending the other day because he's an all-star. I'm happy for him because I didn't think he would actually end up being this good in NBA. But he's having a fucking monster season. But some fucking homer compared him to Chris Bosh and said that Randall is better now than Chris Bosh ever was in his career, which set off a fucking firestorm, around anybody, A, who's not a Knicks fan, and B, who's like over the age of 30. So let's not get stupid, right? I understand Knicks fans are excited because the team, if they started today, I think they'd be in the 4th seed or some shit like that.
5 seed, yeah.
Crazy. Like it's exciting.
And we're gonna fuck around and have a Knicks Jazz finals this year, man.
Oh my.
Oh my god.
But look, man, let's not just fucking calm down. Like we're
Right.
get the homerism. I know the Wizards. If they were doing better, we would be, saying Garrison Matthews is the most underrated player in the league. It happens, but let's just fucking chill out.
What is the root of the comparison, though? I don't understand the logic.
It's such an
shitty
arbitrary
stat metrics.
comparison.
It's another stat argument.
They're not
But
even
why Chris
comparable.
Bosh?
I wanted to bring this up because the guys, the premise of his argument was that in Julius Randle's best season, his averages were better than the best season Chris Bosh ever had. That was the baseline of his argument, and I talked about this last week. Stop using this shit as the baseline for your argument. This is because somebody else retorted, and the same metrics he used proved that Russell Westbrook has an overall better career than LeBron James. That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So
All of these
Yeah, I
stats
don't
in
get it.
comparison need to be all weighted, averaged out to take pace out of the game because even
yes.
some of these Bradley Beal statistics, like, okay, yeah, it's great that he's had this streak of 25 plus points per game, but that's essentially equivalent to 20 points plus per game 20 years ago. Like, it's not the
Yeah.
same anymore. The pace is just
Wow.
so much
Neil
more.
detracting from Bradley Beal's accomplishments in the slightest way.
Hey, I gotta put Brad in check. He been
What
throwing me some
the
shade
fuck?
recently. I need to not gas him up too much.
It's 11:45, Zane. You're dreaming.
That's a funny ass question, Neil.
It's personal.
Damn. I just don't get the compare. I mean, Julius Randle's a fucking monster. Chris Bosh was a great player too.
It's homerism. But look,
Yeah.
I'm happy for the Knicks because you suffer that long as a franchise. Y'all deserve,
They hang in the banner already. Over 500 in March.
Sound like Wizards fans.
Neil would have never known that I was a Knicks fan like 15 years ago.
I vaguely knew for some reason that you had that.
Really? It
association.
just it was in my eye, like the glimmer in my eye, like he's a Knicks
Nah,
fan.
I'm sure Joe must have mentioned some shit or You can never read your face. You have a
the bags
very-
under my eyes. Like, oh yeah, he's a Knicks fan.
well, that you get from being a Wizards fan too.
Yeah, that's true too. Lady Gaga. I didn't know the context of why she was in
Why are you
detention
laughing?
until about 5 minutes before the show. But he has a dog walker while she's in Italy, right, in Rome.
Yeah.
To walk her dogs. The dog walker gets shot. 2 dogs go missing
Yeah.
on camera. Okay,
Dog
go
walker
ahead.
got shot.
The dog walker got shot. Dogs go missing, and Lady Gaga puts out a 500K. Go ahead.
Oh, 500.
Or the kidnapped dogs.
Yeah, because no fucks about the dog walker.
Fuck the guy that's leaking that got fucking popped. Like,
My man Swiss cheese in the
Jeez.
hospital. We go.
Ooh.
But the
He's
dog
like,
is
"Where's
missing.
Gaga? Has Gaga phoned yet? Tell her I'm okay."
I feel different. My body different.
500,000. Good lord.
Oh, with no regard for the dog walker, Neil. This is
Yeah. Doesn't give two shits, clearly.
500,000. What are they, fucking shit Ferrero Rocher candies?
Gold plated.
Yo, I gotta move Detention up a few segments, man. We gotta put this shit at the front of the show.
Detention was
Oh,
good
yeah.
this time because our homeroom was practically a prelude to Detention.
Yeah, I know. We gotta spread this shit out. There's dickheads everywhere, man.
all
either
4
way-
segments next week. Detention. Like,
Yeah, we just do all Detention. We're just gonna air out everybody, man. Hey, either way, we're gonna wrap it up. Read your books, kids. Fuck all this Dr. Seuss cancel culture shit. There's still 58 million other Dr. Seuss books out there.
with
I
lots of
read this shit
lessons in there.
We've been on a Dr. Seuss binge in my daughter's bedroom. So,
I canceled in your house.
not canceled in my house. We ain't seen no circus monkeys either. So, we'll wait until that happens. That's a wrap. Jamal, Neil, Zane, I'm Abdullah. We're gonna holler at you next week.